I want you to picture the place where you feel safest. For most of us, that's home, right?
Mm-hmm. Your sanctuary.
It's Friday night, the door is locked, the blinds are drawn, the world is just out there. But here's the question that kept me up all night prepping for this deep dive.
What is it?
What happens when that feeling of safety is actually a lie?
That is the terrifying premise we're dealing with today. It's not just about a break-in. It's that realization that the barrier you thought existed, well, it just wasn't there.
Exactly. We're doing a deep dive into 3 specific case studies, true home intrusion horror stories from the source material by Mr. Nightmare. And I have to be honest, usually I can kind of distance myself from this stuff.
Right.
But these felt different. They felt personal.
I think personal is the right word, but I'd add another one. Calculated.
Calculated. Okay, let's unpack that a little.
Well, when we analyze crime, especially home invasions, we usually see crimes of opportunity. A dark house, an open window, a quick grab and go.
Right, bad luck.
But in these 3 stories, we are seeing something else entirely. We're seeing targeted vulnerability.
Targeted vulnerability. That sounds almost military.
It's a concept from security analysis.
Yeah.
It just means the victim wasn't chosen at random. The intruder had intelligence. They had done their homework.
You were watching.
They knew the schedule, the layout, or even the emotional triggers of the people inside.
Which is just infinitely scarier. I can handle the idea of, random bad luck. But the idea that someone has been watching me, learning my routine.
That's the real nightmare.
Yeah.
It shifts the whole dynamic from a random event to a planned operation. And as we'll see in all 3 of these cases, the intruders bypassed the physical security, the locks, the alarms by using information.
Okay, well, let's jump right into the first case study. This one features a specific architectural detail that I think a lot of our listeners might actually have.
I think so too.
It takes place about 10 years ago. Our narrator is a guy living in his parents' house, and he ends up staying in the guest room.
And the location of this room is the critical security flaw in this whole scenario.
Right, because the room is situated directly above the garage. Now, this house had this accidental kind of built-in alarm system.
Okay.
The garage door opener was old, it was heavy, and it was loud. So whenever that door opened, the floor of his room would vibrate intensely.
A tactile alert system. You can't ignore that. It's not a beep. It's like a small earthquake.
Exactly. He says it takes precisely 10 seconds for the door to fully open, and the floor shakes for that entire duration.
A 10-second warning.
So let's set the scene. It's Friday night, 11:30 p.m. The narrator has had a grueling week at work. He is just exhausted.
And he's alone.
He's supposed to be alone. This is what you call the pattern of life aspect, right? His parents are at their shore house for the weekend. His brother is away in Baltimore. The house is dark. He's lying in bed, just drifting off.
And then the floor starts to hum.
That 10-second countdown begins. He freezes. His brain tries to rationalize it.
Normalcy bias.
Yeah.
Maybe my parents came back early.
Exactly. Maybe the door malfunctioned. But then the vibration stops.
Which means the door is up. Someone is in the garage.
Now, functionally, the perimeter has been breached.
Yeah.
Most security experts, and I'm guessing you would say this is the moment to lock your door, call 911, and hide.
Do not verify, do not engage. Absolutely.
It does not do that. He completely bypasses the flight response. He jumps up, grabs an old baseball bat from the closet, and creeps to the top of the stairs.
Okay.
He's still hoping there's a logical explanation, but then the scenario shifts from suspicious noise to active threat.
What changes?
He hears voices inside the house, coming from his parents' bedroom. 2 distinct male voices.
Wow. Okay, so now we have confirmed hostiles inside the home.
He does the right thing at first. He dials 911, whispers his address, and puts the phone in his pocket with the line open. The operator's whispering, "Stay put. Police are on the way."
Because you have zero tactical advantage. You have no idea if they're armed.
But he ignores her. He describes this surge of anger, a protective instinct. He hears drawers being ripped open in his mom's room, and he just snaps.
Oh, no.
He screams at the top of his lungs to catch them off guard and bursts into the room, swinging that bat.
This is so high risk. I can't even stress that enough.
And it goes sideways immediately. There are 2 men. He swings, connects with the first guy's leg hard. The guy goes down, but the second guy is huge. He tackles the narrator, slams him to the floor, Now they're just wrestling in the dark.
This is the nightmare scenario. Close quarters combat with a total stranger.
The intruder gets him in a chokehold.
Yeah.
The narrator says he's fading out, seeing stars. And then he sees the first guy, the one with the broken leg crawling toward them.
He's holding something.
He's holding something shiny. It's a knife.
So now we're talking lethal intent.
The narrator said he actually accepted his death in that moment. But then, miraculously, he hears sirens.
The open line saved him. The operator must have heard the struggle.
Exactly. The intruders panic. The big guy grabs the bat, cracks the narrator over the head, and they bail out the back door.
Okay, so he survived. That's the trauma. But now, as analysts, we have to look at the breach. How did they get in?
That is the twist that made my stomach drop. There was no forced entry. No broken window, no pick lock. They came in through the garage.
Using the opener.
Yes. The narrator later realizes the only way to open that garage from the outside was a wireless remote, and that remote was clipped to the visor of his car.
And let me guess, the car was in the driveway.
In the driveway, unlocked.
This is such a classic failure of layered security. We think, I lock my front door, I'm safe. But if your car is unlocked and your car contains a magic button that opens your house,
then your house is unlocked.
Exactly.
But here's where it gets really scary. It's not just that the car was unlocked, it's that the intruders knew the button was there, and more importantly, they knew the schedule.
Right. They knew the parents were away. They knew the brother was out of town.
They struck at the perfect moment. The narrator's dad became incredibly paranoid afterwards because the only logic is that whoever did this was close to the family.
Or at least close enough to know their routine. This is that local intelligence factor. He wasn't targeted by a random drifter. He was targeted by someone who had been watching or maybe just listening.
They never caught them.
And that highlights the danger of pattern predictability. We all have routines. We tell our friends our weekend plans. We leave our cars unlocked in our own driveways. But that predictability is data. And here, that data was weaponized.
Which is a perfect segue to our next story. Because if the first one was about, physical surveillance, this one is about psychological manipulation, social engineering.
This is what we call a pretexting attack. You create a fictional scenario, a pretext, to compel a victor to do something they wouldn't normally do.
So our narrator is a guy in his 30s. He's moved back home to help his aging mother. She lives about 20 minutes away, has some health issues. She's prone to falling.
So he's primed for bad news. His emotional baseline is already stress. That makes him vulnerable.
Totally. It's 9:00 p.m. He gets a call from a local number. A woman says she's an ER nurse. She says, "Your mother has taken a fall. She hit her head. She is asking for you."
That's the hook. Immediate urgency. Panic just overrides critical thinking.
And the details were so specific. The caller knew the mother's full name, knew her address. And here's the kicker, the detail that sold the whole lie.
What was it?
The caller mentioned complications with her recent hip replacement surgery.
Oh, that's the validation token. A stranger calls and says your mom is hurt. You might be skeptical. You might call her first.
Right.
But if they say your mom, Jane, who just had that hip surgery, is hurt, your skepticism just vanishes. You assume they're official.
It worked perfectly. He panics, runs out of the house. He even admits he didn't lock his deadbolt, just pulled the knob lock shut and sprinted to his car.
The sinking feeling is coming.
He drives to the ER, runs to the desk breathless, and the receptionist has no idea what he's talking about.
No record of her.
He calls his mom's cell, hands shaking, and she picks up. She's at home, sleeping. She's fine.
And that's the moment, the realization, I've been baited.
He drives back home just furious, finds his front door unlocked. He goes inside, and the place has been completely tossed.
TV gone, laptop gone.
Yep. But then he notices what else is missing. And this is where it goes from just a robbery to something really creepy.
What'd they take?
They took family photos out of the frames, left the frames, took the pictures, and they emptied his medicine cabinet.
Okay, the medication has street value. But the photos, that shifts the motive entirely.
He said it felt sadistic, like why take the photos?
It could be psychological, just to leave the victim feeling completely exposed. But from a security standpoint, photos are valuable for identity theft or to social engineer other family members later.
But the big question is how? How did they know about the hip surgery? That was the key.
The narrator suspects his mom. He describes her as chatty, lots of friends, talks to people at the grocery store.
Well, my son is back in town to help me out with my new hip.
Exactly. Loose lips sink ships. It's an old saying, but it applies perfectly here. The criminals didn't need to pick the narrator's lock. They just needed one piece of data strong enough to make him leave the door unlocked for them.
That's terrifying, because we all know someone like that. And you never think it's going to lead to this.
It creates this sense of helplessness because the vulnerability isn't even in your own control. It's in the hands of everyone who knows your secrets.
Okay, well, if we're talking about helplessness and questioning reality, we have to talk about story number 3. This one, I'll be honest, this one really messed with my head.
This is the one that challenges the concept of memory and ownership. It's gaslighting on a massive scale.
So, the narrator rents a house, lives alone. It's been about a year. One night, 11 p.m., there is just aggressive pounding on his door. Not knocking, pounding.
Okay.
He opens it, keeping the screen door locked, thankfully. And there's this disheveled, agitated man just screaming, "This is my house. What are you doing in my house?"
A fairly common delusion, unfortunately. Police deal with that a lot.
That's what the narrator thought. But then the guy starts listing these details about the house. He says the master bedroom door hits the toilet when you open it. The back door sticks. You have to lift it to turn the knob.
Oh. That is specific functional knowledge. You can't see that from the street. You can't find that online.
No. And then the guy pulls out a folder. He has a lease agreement with his name on it, dated 6 months before the narrator moved in. He has mail addressed to him at that house.
Okay.
And then, the worst part, he pulls out his phone and shows the narrator photos.
So what?
Photos of the stranger inside the house, sitting on the narrator's couch, cooking in the kitchen.
Wait, the current furniture?
The narrator's side.
Current furniture. And there's one photo specifically, a group selfie in the kitchen.
Mhm.
The guy claims it's from July 4th, just a few months ago. The narrator knows he was home on July 4th. He lives alone.
This is where the psychological horror just kicks in. The evidence directly contradicts your own lived experience. The narrator starts questioning everything. Am I losing my mind? Was I asleep? He threatens to call the police. And this is the tell. The moment he mentions the cops, the stranger's whole demeanor shifts.
What does he do?
He just goes calm. He says, "Okay, I'll wait outside." He walks off the porch and vanishes.
That reaction, the calm retreat when authority is mentioned, that suggests it wasn't a delusion. A delusional person usually escalates. This was a con or a probe.
The police find nothing. The landlord says, "I have no idea who that is." But 2 weeks later,
The return.
he comes home, house is ransacked, no forced entry.
So the guy had a key.
He had a key, and he obviously knew the quirks of the doors.
This touches on a really creepy concept called phrogging, like the amphibian. It's when people secretly live in your home, in attics or crawl spaces. But this feels different.
How do you explain the photos? The July 4th one.
That's the anomaly. If the narrator was home, how did they take a photo in the kitchen? Unless he was asleep. It implies a proximity that is just suffocating. Or maybe the photos were doctored.
But the sticky door detail proves he had physically been in there.
Right. It leaves the question of reality just hanging there.
Yeah.
But functionally, it's a security breach of the highest order. Someone had access, keys, and even documentation to make their lie look like the truth.
So when we look at all 3 of these stories, the garage remote, the decor call, and the glitch tenant, what's the common thread here? Because to me, it feels like the locks didn't matter in any of them.
You hit the nail on the head. We think of security as hardware. Deadbolts, cameras, alarms. But in all 3 cases, the hardware was totally bypassed. The common thread is information as a weapon.
Information as a weapon.
Look at story 1. The weapon wasn't the knife. It was the knowledge of the schedule and where the remote was. They used the victim's own routine against him.
And story 2.
The weapon was the medical history. That knowledge of the hip surgery was the key that unlocked the front door by making the victim leave it unlocked himself.
And the third one, the strangest one.
The weapon was knowledge of the house's physical quirks. That information allowed the intruder to gaslight the victim and, likely come and go as he pleased.
So for our listeners, what's the takeaway? We can't just stop trusting our moms or parking in our driveways.
No, but we can tighten up our attack surface. It really comes down to InfoSec information security, but applying to real life. We need to stop treating our personal data and our routines as just harmless chatter.
Okay, give me 3 concrete things I can do tonight.
All right, number 1, sanitize your routine. Don't broadcast your schedule on social media. And for the love of God, don't leave the keys to the castle like that garage remote in an unlocked car. Treat your car like it's a glass box on a public street.
That's a great way to think about it. Number 2.
Number 2, verify the source. If you get a panic-inducing call, hang up. Call the hospital directly. Call your mom directly. Never, ever act on the urgency of an inbound call. The urgency is the weapon.
And number 3.
Audit your access. If you move into a rental, change the locks. Immediately. It costs $50. You have no idea who the last tenant gave a key to.
My aha moment here is realizing that in all 3 cases, the victims felt perfectly safe right up until the trap sprung. They were in their sanctuary. They had no idea their data had already been stolen.
Security is a process, not a product. You can buy a great lock, but you have to practice the process of keeping your information tight.
That is a sobering thought, but a really necessary one. We worry about the stranger jumping out of the bushes, and we forget about the one who's just quietly listening.
Precisely. The scariest intruder isn't the one who breaks the door down. It's the one who walks right in because you inadvertently gave him the key.
Well, on that note, we're going to wrap up this deep dive. We've covered the garage door vibration, the fake nurse, and the impossible roommate.
3 nightmares, 1 lesson.
And before we go, we want to leave you with something to think about tonight.
We all worry about strangers. But these stories suggest the real danger comes from someone who knows you just well enough to trick you. So if someone wanted to get into your house tonight, what specific piece of information about your routine would be the key?
Stay curious, everyone. And maybe just go check that back door one
If
more
you like
time.
this
Couldn't
video,
hurt.
please subscribe
Thanks for listening to the deep dive.
Thank you.
We'll see you next time.
If you like this video, please subscribe the channel. Thank you.